Hey guys, this is Mal, co-host of the 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. Before you listen to this episode, I wanted to remind you all to please make sure you like and subscribe to us on any platform that you are listening on today. We rely and value your support in order to continue providing you with the best NFC East content. We appreciate you all, and we hope that you enjoy the podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host with Lucas, Mal, Maurice, and Earl. Guys, we just finished preseason week 2, and now we are almost less than a month away from the regular season. Everybody's on edge. Starting quarterbacks are starting to be named. Shout out to Gardner Minshew, former Eagle. And we are doing our NFC East predictions for our awards this year. Who will be the NFC East MVP? We'll find out. So, but first, we're going to start our way from the bottom and work our way up. So let's go with the rushing leader. Who do you guys think will be the rushing leader in the NFC East this year? And I'll start with Earl.
Yeah, you may not believe me with this one. I'm going to go Brian Robinson Jr.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Of course you do.
What can I say?
Yeah, the only reason why I think that's going to happen is I believe Washington's going to have like a running game for Daniels to kind of get him comfortable and implemented into the offense. And just with how Robinson has been running this past season and stuff, and him getting healthier, I think he's going to be someone that's going to be a solid running back in this division, where I can't stand the Commanders, but I will recognize the players and give respect where it is for it, and he's definitely one of those that could be an X factor for the offense.
Okay, Mal, who do you think it is going to be?
So I like Earl's answer, but I don't foresee either a Giants running back or a Cowboys running back being a rushing leader, because we're going to be running back by committee, so it's kind of going to be split up. Unfortunately, it's going to be he who shall not be named.
Number 26?
Say it, Mal.
Saquon Barkley will be the rushing leader for the East this year. You know, he's a
Mal,
fantastic
I got a
player.
name for him. You can call him Saquon Broccoli.
Saquon Broccoli. Yes, Saquon Broccoli will be the rushing leader.
He's in green now?
No, I was just going to say that I really do think it's going to be Saquon Barkley. I think that he's going to add a different spark to the Eagles' offense this year. DeAndre Swift was very productive in the Eagles' offense last year, and I think Saquon's just going to be even better than that. He is he's the best back in the league. Not the league, in the NFC East this year. And I think he will have the most production. I don't think there's any questions behind it. That's just my opinion.
Okay, Maurice?
Yeah, by process of elimination, you got to go Saquon. I understand Earl wants to give Brian Robinson his due, but that's also a running back by committee because they have Austin Eckler. Both of them are going to share carries. We know who the running back one is going to be for the Eagles. Cowboys, Giants, both of their running back positions, their running back rooms are I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But somebody's going to step up. And, it could be somebody. It could be a Cowboy or a Giant that gets the most carries and most yards. But
it
as
could
of right
very
now,
well be Singletary.
Remember, we're talking rushing leader. Rushing leader, that means most yards.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's going to be Saquon. Yeah, it's Saquon.
Yeah, you could say it's Saquon, but it's just how Kellen Moore's going to dial it up.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's the only reason why I went Robinson, because I would have went with Saquon. Mm-hmm. But you also got to look at it from the standpoint. Y'all got so many receivers. You're telling me they're not going to be thrown to? And for what Jalen Hurts has as the money that they paid him, they're going to keep him from throwing the ball. So it's just going to be that where it's going to be overall balance. Like Saquon, he's got enough ability to break one, but you also got to count on how many touches he's going to get.
Yeah, with even if there is a running back by committee with Eckler and Robinson and DC, I'm going to go with Robinson too. Though I am very tempted to say Eckler as a dark horse, just to troll here, but I'm not going to. Because when you think about it, everything that they keep on saying is that coming out of DC's training camp in preseason is that they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball to open up the passing game, okay? Whether that's QB designed runs or running backs. And let's be clear, Eckler was brought in as a third down back. He was not going to be getting too many of the lion's shares. He's 28 years old. Not saying that he can't run anymore, that he's washed or anything, but he is not going to get the lion's shares of the touches there when it comes to run plays. So I will also go with Brian Robinson. So we have a 50-50 split on this. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to keep a record of this on this episode. So 2 for Robinson and 2 for Saquon. Or broccoli.
Saquon Broccoli.
Put
Yes.
some respect. Put some respect on my running back's name.
No.
All right.
Real quick though, before we move on, DeAndre Swift actually led the NFC East in rushing last season.
Different coordinator.
Yeah, but it's
I
still
know.
not far fetched to
But
say Saquon.
It's not. And
It's
even
not.
with Jalen's running ability and his receivers, I still think Saquon is going to produce more than, even in Kellen Moore's system, I still think he's going to rush for the most. That's just my honest opinion.
Well, we will see. What's going to be the next interesting one is who will be the wide receiver receiving leader this year. And I will also caveat that you can include tight ends on this.
Really?
Yes, tight ends are allowed.
Ooh.
Or running backs if you think that running backs going to actually lead the division. But let's be clear. I don't think any of us actually think that. But I'll say anybody that can catch a ball is included on this. So, Earl, who do you think will be the receiving leader this year in the NFC East?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know I got to go with C.D. Lamb.
Is he going to be playing by week 1?
I hope so. I'm going off of what I've heard.
Okay, so 1 for C.D. Lamb. Okay.
But if I could change it, I would go with Jake Ferguson.
Okay, you got to choose one or the other. Which one are you going with?
I'm going CD.
Okay, CD. Okay, Mal, who you got?
So I gave a lot of thought to this one because there's a lot of options in terms of the NFC East with the wide receiver situation going on. But I heard through the little grapevine, through the birdie, that talks are going well with CD and the Cowboys. I think CD will re-sign before season starts, and I think CD will be the leader this season. That's just my honest opinion. I think A.J. Brown will be close, but I got CD number 1.
Maurice?
Yeah, I agree. Same reason I gave for the running backs. We got AJ, we got Devontae Smith. They're going to take targets from each other in yards. So if CD plays 17 games, it's CD Lamb.
So I'm actually going to zag on this one, and my concern here is we are so late into the preseason that I am worried that CD Lamb he might be physically ready, but I am worried about soft tissue injuries, hoping that does not happen. But usually the guys that hold out usually end up getting these. Not going to say it's a for certain thing, but with that and the fact that Kellen Moore is a pass-happy guy, I will say that I'm actually going to go with A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. I think that
That's
with
not
all the...
far off. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not far off.
So
I'm surprised you didn't say McLaurin.
I mean, look,
I thought he was going to say that too.
crossed my mind because, is there a reality where McLaurin gets 1,300 yards this season? Yes, but is that going to beat out A.J. Brown and Lamb? Probably not. Probably not.
With a rookie quarterback.
With a rookie quarterback, probably not. I mean, maybe next year, but not this year. I'll try to be unbiased. I'm trying to be unbiased here.
Okay.
So, the next one would be passing leader. Who's going to be the passing leader this year, Earl?
Number 4.
Number 4, Dak Prescott. Okay. 1 for Dak. Mal?
So I'm going to say, based off of Kellen Moore and how he runs his offense, I'm going with Jalen Hurts on this one.
Okay, fair. Maurice?
I'm actually going to say Dak. I think he has more. He has more to prove. This is a statement year for Dak,
Okay.
and a contract year apparently. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think Dak is going to come out firing. I really do.
So I'm actually going to side with Mal on this one. Same reasoning that I had for the wide receiver choice of A.J. Brown. I'm going to go with the quarterback choice of Jalen Hurts. I just think that we're going to see a lot of throws. I think that Hurts could very easily average 35 to 38 throws per game.
I think you're going to get the 40.
Oh,
You think he's going to get the 40?
I'm
Yeah.
also going to say this, guys. Based off of what I've seen from Eagles training camp, Jalen Hurts has been on the money. He went, what was the longest streak of not throwing an interception in training camp?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
It's
threw an
looking
interception.
It's amazing they keep track on what's going on in training camp.
Right?
Yeah.
First interception was today, and it was like the first one in a really long time.
It was the first one during training camp, and it was by Darius Slay. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. Jalen, he's looking crisp. He's looking ready. And based on how Kellen Moore runs his offense, I think Jalen Hurts will throw for a lot this season.
We shall see.
Yeah, for sure. That's fair. So now we get into the rookie awards. I'm ready for this. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I'm ready for this. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Earl, who you got?
I'm going to go Marshawn Nealon.
Your Cowboys guy?
DN. The only reason why I say that is because with Sam Williams out for the season, he's going to be taking most of Sam Williams' snaps, and I believe he might be able to play opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence. So I think he'll have an immediate impact with Dallas when he steps on the field. But I do like Kalen Carson, though. The only thing is the playing time with Kalen Carson, especially with Diggs coming back. So I'm gonna go Marshawn Nealon.
So you're gonna go Nealon, okay? Who do you got, Mal?
So this one's a diamond in the rough kind of story, but you know that I'm not very high on the Giants this year. But one that I think is going to sneak up on us that we'll be talking about this year a lot, guys, is Elijah Chapman, defensive tackle for the Giants.
Oh, you mean that guy that ran down that runner?
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a literal dog. UDFA defensive tackle. Wasn't on my radar in any way, shape, or form. But the guy has just shown out in camp. He's really earning that spot. I think he's going to make the 53, and I think he's going to be next to Dexter Lawrence this season. And honestly, I'm really excited. And he's showing significant growth. He's literally a big dude that just wants to play, and he plays hard. And he's putting things up there, and I'm excited for him. I got him in our NFC East Defensive Rookie of the Year talks.
What is his 40 time?
I don't know. I'm going to actually look that up.
Yes, please do.
He looked like he might have ran like a 4.5.
Yeah, I was about to say he was able to catch up to that running back. That's pretty impressive.
4.8.
Oh, wow.
Hey, that's game speed.
Yeah.
You can't teach that.
He's looking good, and I'm loving it. I'm all about the defensive guys. I'm all about the hype. I've been looking for someone to be next to Dexter Lawrence, and I love him. I love him there. I'm hoping that he does well this season, and I got him in this preseason as my Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Fair enough. Maurice?
I'm going my guy, Quinyon Mitchell. He's going to be CB2, or he's going to be playing in the slot week 1. So he's going to have the opportunity to be Defensive Rookie of the Year in the division. And if he gets a couple interceptions, he runs away with this award.
Okay, fair enough. Well, guys, I'm going to go with the guy that former Alabama head coach Nick Saban called the best pound-for-pound player coming out of this draft, and Mikey Samerstiel from Michigan.
Samerstiel?
Yeah, Samerstiel, sorry. I got tongue-tied there. Yeah, Samerstiel coming out of Michigan here. You know, the guy's a ball hawk. He's going to be one of the – you could argue he's easily the best corner in the draft. He's gonna, like, especially nickel corner, like they might have to play him on the outside just because our other corners are not that good. But like he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a big problem, and I love it. And you've been hearing nothing but good stuff out of there. I do want to shout out Tyler Owens, undrafted guy. He's going to make the 53-man roster as a special teams guy. He's not going to make a big impact this year, but keep an eye out for him in the next couple of years. But, yeah, so I'm going to put in there San Steele.
Might I add, I think this has been like a weird defensive draft class for the NFC East.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm interested to see how it all ends up at the end of the season.
This is the first time in this episode that we've all had different people for an award.
Wait,
so
Maurice was the only team to draft a defensive player in the first round, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it deals with just the needs for each team on their defense, and each guy has the ability to make the team and make it a difference. And Sainer Steele, I like his style because he kind of reminds me of Jordan Lewis with the Cowboys and just how he plays. He's definitely a ball magnet guy. Mm-hmm. And that's one that if he's able to get comfortable, I think he's here to stay with what he's capable of doing.
For sure. And by the way, I didn't even mention Johnny Newton. And the only reason why he's not there instead of San Francisco is that, one, he's recovering from an injury, though he should be ready by week 1. But 2, he's going to be playing behind 2 guys who've made Pro Bowls. So that's the other thing.
Gotta have the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
He wants it. You got to be healthy to get it.
So I'm going to be interested to see how we agree on this if we agree on this next award. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Earl, who you got?
I really think this is a 2-horse race.
I think so too. So we'll see what happens. Earl, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I got some stuff written down. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels.
Let's go.
Not because of you, Lucas.
I know.
Not because of you, Lucas.
Look, I get it.
It was either that or Malik Neighbors. Yeah. The only situation I have with that is it just depends on how much Daniel Jones is going to get the ball to him.
Yeah.
And that's just the question mark I have. I at least saw a little bit of sample size of what Daniels is capable of doing. If he protects the ball as well as protects himself, this guy's got a career on the horizon that is going to really catapult him to what Washington wants him to be. And with that, I think he'll have enough to be able to make a difference, make some plays, kind of have somewhat of an impact to how Stroud had with the Texans last year. I think Daniels will have that this time around, making some key plays that would secure a Rookie of the Year win for him.
Okay, fair enough. Mal, please tell me who you have.
So, okay, don't assume. All right.
You're right. Assuming makes us both look silly, and I'm not saying the actual term because, family friendly.
I actually have Jaden Daniels as my offensive Rookie of the Year.
Let's go.
So
not because of you,
I have
Lucas.
the same. Not because of you.
Okay. Why do you guys think that you're doing this for me?
I know if you could, I know you'd be doing backflips right now.
You know what? You'll never know. You ain't here.
I know you're thinking it.
Now I am because you said it. Anyway, let Mal go.
No, it's all good. I think Malik Neighbors will have a fantastic season. I think he'll have one of the best Giants wide receiver seasons since Odell. But like Earl said, I have a little bit of concern with the quarterback situation with the Giants.
Is it a little bit or is it a lot of bit?
It's a lot of it.
Okay.
I'm genuinely worried. And I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. But anyway, so I have Jaden Daniels as my offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that he's going to have a really good season. I don't think he's going to take you guys to the playoffs, but I do think that he's going to get you into a good spot to start at least. And
I don't need playoffs right now. I just need good
quarterback play, and I think he'll deliver that to you. So I do have Jaden Daniels as the offensive Rookie of the Year for the NFC East.
Okay, fair enough. Maurice.
Yeah, like I said, it comes down to two players, Daniels or Neighbors. I do find it interesting that last week Mal mentioned that Neighbors didn't get any targets, and then the recent preseason game he got a lot of targets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So with that said, though, I think this is going to be a consensus. I'm gonna go Daniels as well, because he's going to play all season. Like I mentioned on Twitter, let him take his lumps, let him make his mistakes now, and then by the end of the season, we should know if he's the real deal or not.
Look, like, you guys don't even ask. You know who it is. You know who it's going to be. It's going to be my boy Jaden Daniels. Let's go. Just got named the starter. Let's go. I'm all for it.
Look, all I need him to do is to make sure he protects his body, because I don't want him to be hit like a humanized cartoon.
Yeah, he did get hit in a preseason game. Dan Quinn was not happy about that. I was
That
not happy about
that offensive line is still scary, Lucas.
Well, the middle of the line is fine. The guard play and the center play, I'm comfortable with. It's just the edges. I'm a little
So
concerned.
that's the
there.
biggest issue.
I
Especially in
know.
the
I
division
know.
with
I know.
our
I
edge
know.
rushers
That's
in
why
the
they're
division?
That's why we're gonna be a running team, sir. We're gonna be running the ball.
Look,
Anyway.
I'm gonna tell you, Lucas, you better hope Biotis is the guy y'all need.
I'm hoping so too. So far, so good though. Let's go to most improved player. Who's going to be the most improved player in the NFC East, Earl?
I got some names up here.
I got one. I already know who it is, or who I'm hoping.
I'm gonna go with my dude Ezekiel Elliott.
He can't be most improved. He's been a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro.
Yeah,
he can
that
be a
doesn't
comeback player,
yeah,
but that's
that
not
doesn't
one of
count.
the awards we're doing, sir.
Yeah.
Improve? Okay, let me run it back.
It really has to be like a second or third year player that takes a leap forward.
Yeah, it can't be a guy that used to be good and then was bad and then come back. That's a bounce. That's a comeback player.
I got you. I'm gonna go Mozzie Smith.
Okay.
The reason why I'm gonna go Mozzie, I feel that last year they really had him out of position, and I think Zimmer now is gonna get him where he needs to be, back where he was in college, just amplified a bit. I really saw them like coaching this dude up, very good. The defensive line coach calling him Mickey Mouse hands, and stuff just getting in his head, and he's just constantly just improving and just trying to fight to get to where he needs to be. And for me, for him, especially with a defensive tackle, a nose guard, it takes about 2 to 3 years for them to finally get to where they need to be. Mozzie's going in year 2. I think he'll take that improvement jump that I think he'll have, especially with how well they're coaching him up.
Okay. Mal, who you got?
All right, guys. Hear me out, and I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say, okay?
I mean, now you're making me think that you were going to say Daniel Jones.
No. That's so far off. No. It's not a Giant.
Okay.
So this particular person is very, very good, but is not put in to the best conversation of their group because they have not been given what should be in front of them. And my most improved player is going to be Terry McLaurin.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. I like that.
I'm going to tell you why. Because he's a fantastic wide receiver. And with the terrible quarterback play he has had, he's still produced. But I think Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels, with competent quarterback play, is going to jump into the top 10 wide receiver conversation. Officially. I think he's going to have one of the best years that he's had so far, and he's my most improved for this year of the NFC East.
I liked how you teed that up. Maurice.
I told y'all you weren't expecting it.
Yeah, I was not. You caught me off guard there.
Surprise attack.
I was actually going to say De'Ami Brown.
Okay. De'Ami Brown. Yeah. Okay, we can talk about that.
If McLaurin gets the most targets, and I assume he's receiver 1, he's going to get the most attention from the secondary. Somebody else has to catch the ball. I mean, it's either him or Zach Ertz.
Well, Zach Ertz was a Pro Bowler, so he doesn't qualify.
No. I'm just saying.
No, he's saying like in general.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz is at the end of his. he might be. This might be his last season. So if McLaurin is getting all the attention, is either De'Ami Brown, Dotson's not looking good, or a running back
sliding.
Yeah, slide. Is either them or I mean, eventually, if your team is going to be a running team, you got to throw the ball eventually. So someone has to benefit from that.
The play action is going to be beneficial for Daniels if y'all are more run focused. Mm-hmm. And Marisa is right, because if McLaurin is getting doubled, someone else is going to have to win their matchup. And from the looks of it, I've been hearing a lot about De'Ami Brown, but Dotson, I mean, he's a first round pick, and for him, he's really got to step up. This is his last hurrah, so. But I agree with Maurice that is De'Ami Brown, because I think he has that immediate impact more than Dotson.
Are you changing your answer, or?
I'm sticking with Mozzie. I'm just saying.
Okay, gotcha. Maurice, I'm actually agreeing with you. I love Mal's answer, and I really want to say Terry, but Terry's been a 1,000-yard receiver for the past 4 years. So it's hard for me to say Terry, considering how good he's been already, despite all the bad quarterback play.
The only reason that I'm saying that is because I think that Terry's actually going to take that leap of actually being in conversations with CD and AJ Brown.
And if he does, I would love that, and I would love to be proven wrong. But here's the thing about De'Ami, okay? De'Ami has been a training camp superstar. He's always looked good in training camp, never really translated to the regular season. I put it some on the quarterback play, some on him. But him and Daniels seem to have it clicking. And the fact that I think he was a third-round pick a couple years ago, is beating out Jahan Dotson, and it doesn't even feel like it's close right now. Like, it looks like it's De'Ami's job to lose. Like, it looks like he's going to be wide receiver 2. And if he can actually, not have like his problem in the past has been concentration. He has concentration drops. That's his issue. So if he's found a way to get past that in year 4, he has the size and the speed to do enough to be that outside threat, to be the opposite side outside threat to Terry, that deep bomb threat. And we saw in the first preseason game, Jaden audibled and threw a deep bomb, a 40-yard bomb to De'Ami. So I think De'Ami could very well be the most improved player in this division. But I'm just going to say I love all the Washington love we have here so far. Love all the Washington. It's not by choice, he says.
This might be the only.
We're just talking real, man.
This might be the only love the Commanders get all season.
We'll see. But let's go ahead and let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. Let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. We'll go with Earl, and I think I know his answer, but let's hear it anyway.
I'm going Micah Parsons. It's his time. He keeps coming in second due to other guys, but I really think people are really just getting this guy wrong. And with him having that dynamic ability of being able to play linebacker more and playing off ball, as well as still earning to get to the quarterback, he's going to be that guy that's going to disrupt a lot of the line. And I really think it's his time this year that he's going to get that Defensive Player of the Year award.
So you're not just saying that for the division, but the whole NFL too, correct?
Yeah, it's putting not only through the division, but it's also putting the NFL on notice. They got this guy wrong.
All right, cool. Mal, who do you got?
So for my Defensive Player of the Year, I have Brian Burns.
I had a feeling.
The only reason that I have Brian Burns is because I don't think, listen, Kayvon is an up-and-coming project, and we'll get into this when we get into team news, but Brian Burns is a different type of player. He's proven, at least in training camp and as of recently, and in his games that he's played with the Panthers, he's been very special. I think he's going to have a significant impact on the Giants. I was stuck with him and Dexter Lawrence because I think Dexter Lawrence is going to have another really, really good year. But I think Burns is going to have more of the numbers impact than Lawrence will have. With the way that teams double team Dexter Lawrence, I think that's going to free up opportunities for Burns. and I think that he's going to step up really big for the Giants this year, and I think he's going to have more of an impact. Micah Parsons is usually always my default answer. I'm more so just worried at the fact that maybe this year things might, and they probably won't because Micah Parsons is a different type of player. But if people are game planning for Micah Parsons, maybe it'll be different. This is what I was really torn on this one, guys. Like, I really, really was. I'm not even going to, like, front with you. Like, it was really, really tough, but I'm going with Brian Burns.
And the reason why I went with Micah is that from what I've been hearing, from what Zimmer's been talking and preaching, it's going to be up to the offense to try to find Micah. And I feel like with what they're trying to do, he's a chess piece, and they got to protect the queen, which I think for protecting the queen, they're protecting Micah. I'm seeing a lot of moves, and I really believe they're really going to unleash Micah the way that he should have been unleashed since his rookie year.
Yeah, no, fair, guys. Maurice, are you going to have an Eagle on this list? Let's find out.
No, I think Mal makes a great point. I actually was going to say Micah as well. But
have you been swayed?
I have.
Ooh.
Because you have to game plan for more players on that Giants defensive line.
Because we're not even talking about Thibodeau either.
Yeah, we're not. But there's a little bit more. The Giants have a little bit more of an arsenal on their D-line than the Cowboys. And if you have one and Micah is a great defensive player, no doubt. But if you can game plan at one singular player compared to the Giants when they have like 3, maybe 4 guys who can really get after the quarterback, I'm going to go Brian Burns as well.
You guys make good cases for Micah and Burns, and I am very tempted to say Burns. However, I'm going to go with a future Hall of Famer, an OG that came to the NFC East this offseason. I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner, who led the league in tackles last year.
Wags. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't think, and he's reuniting with Dan Quinn. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said there. Like, he's going to be the
Gus
leader.
Bradley pick, but okay.
Okay, yeah, but he played with Dan Quinn too. Okay, but yeah, no, I mean, look, it's a good combination there. You can't go wrong. I'm very tempted to say Frankie Louvu too, because he's nice.
He's a good player.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with it. Look, like I said, you guys make great cases. They're both great players. I think the off-field stuff with the Dallas Cowboys is gonna seep in some way with Micah. And then I think with Burns, you might be right, Mal. You probably are. And maybe I'm being a bit of a homer with this pick, but I do like Bobby Wagner so much. So I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner.
I totally hear what you're saying with Bobby Wagner. All the respect to him. He's a GOAT, future Hall of Famer. I'm all for it. I just think the guy's a little old, and I just don't know how he's going to fit in your system, but I will probably be proved wrong. So respectfully, salute.
Fair enough. And finally, the last award here, guys, the most interesting one. MVP. Earl, who's the MVP of the NFC East when all said and done? You're muted, bud.
If this is going to be his last dance, go out with a bang. I'm going Dak Prescott.
Okay, Dak. Fair enough. Mal?
So I agree with Earl on this. I think Dak Prescott will be our divisional MVP, and this is why. I think that I don't think the Cowboys and him will come to an agreement this year. I think that Dak will wind up being a free agent next offseason, and he will wind up moving on. And I think that he's going to have something to prove, and he's going to go out swinging. Regardless of what the outcome is in the playoffs, whatever it is, Dak Prescott will put an MVP run with the league this year yet again, like he did last year. That's my opinion.
Maurice, who you got?
Well, like I said earlier, statistically, Dak Prescott will have a great season going into a off season where he's looking to get paid. With that said, MVP, I got Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Number one in Kelly Green. I think he has. I think his team. Spoiler alert. I think the Eagles will have a better record than the Cowboys, which
We
vaults
shall
you,
see.
into an MVP conversation league wide, not just division. I think he has the most weapons he's ever had around him, so he's in line to be statistically good and to win more games. And on top of that, it's a proven year for Jalen as well. He had a down year last year. I'm sure he's going to come back and be an efficient passer, even in the new offense with the weapons he has around. So I got Jalen Hurts as MVP.
Okay, fair enough. Well, before I say mine, let me just talk about your guys' here. Dak Prescott. It might be his last year. He might have something to prove. We still don't know what's going to happen with CD. We don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy without training camp, to get into conditioning. They also have a young offensive line replacing a few key guys with rookies. And then with the Eagles, Hurts could put up very high numbers in Kellen Moore's offense. He could also put up even higher interception rate than he did last year in Kellen Moore's offense. Kind of got to wait and see on that one. I'm going to go, but I am going to choose an Eagle, and I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. Because for a good stretch of last season, A.J. Brown looked like the best player in the NFC East before CeeDee Lamb and Dak took over. So I'm gonna go A.J. Brown on this one. Because I think even if Hurts throws interceptions, Brown's still going to get enough catches and put up big numbers. So that's who I have. I don't automatically give it to quarterbacks. I don't like automatically giving it to quarterbacks. If we had like a clear-cut number one running back, I might give it to them. Like I don't love giving it to quarterbacks because I feel.
To be honest with you guys, I have a confession to make.
Did you almost put Brian Burns in? Because I was thinking about it too.
No.
Okay.
I almost put Saquon Broccoli in there.
Wow. Wow.
I almost put him in there because, like, realistically, like, we don't have a clear-cut running back one in the NFC East besides him. And him, when he was with the Giants, listen, I'll flame him. He hurt my heart, and I'm always going to be sad. But in the end, Saquon is a generational running back talent. We've seen it. And I just know that for some reason, he's going to go off and break my heart even more this year.
Well, he might break your heart by winning a Super Bowl. Who knows?
No. Don't go. Do not go that far. Go that far. Don't you dare. But
Lucas
no.
on that helium.
I do see him having a really good season, and hence why I thought about putting him in there.
All right. That's fair. Look, I was tempted to put either Micah or Burns or Bobby Wagner because I think a defensive player can certainly be MVP as well. We'll see. That being said, let's go to team news. I'm going to chop it up to Earl.
All right, we're going to start with the NFC East team news. Lucas, what news do you have dealing with the Commanders and what you thought about their week 2 of preseason?
First off, Jeff Driscoll has some legs on him. Let's be clear, because that was a unexpected phenomenal run. I don't know if you guys saw that play. He ran for
I saw it.
Like I think it was 40 or 50 yards. It was crazy. I can't remember the exact number, but kudos to him. Jamin Davis actually looked comfortable being a pass rusher. If it works, I'm all for it. He got his first sack of the preseason there. Jean Baptiste looked like he might have a chance to make the roster. He had got his first sack of his career, too. Outside of that, I mean, Jaden Daniels didn't get a touchdown, but he did have really sustainable drives. They missed the kick. Our kicker's not going to be here. Our kicker's not on our roster right now. We will have somebody else take over that eventually. Outside of that, and Diami just looked good. I mean, yeah. Brandon Coleman's getting healthy. everybody's getting healthy from my understanding. I think everybody's getting healthy. So that's pretty much it. I don't have much to share. We kind of talked about the main stuff when we were doing the awards. So yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, QB1.
QB1 announced QB1. Yep, we talked about that. Yep, announced QB1. Good for him. He's earned it. He earned it. It was not given to him. He did everything that they asked him to, and then more. So he's earned it.
Good for him. And real quick before we move on, shout out to Bo Nix.
Oh yeah, Bo Nix got the starting job, and
I didn't see that one coming.
And Gardner Minshew, like I said at the beginning of the pod. Yeah, some guys getting named starters. Steelers still don't have a starter.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be Justin Fields.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I'm not high on them this year. I think it's going to be a little rough for them.
I think Mike Tomlin gets his first losing record.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see.
We'll see. All right. If that's it, Lucas, thank you for sharing. I'm going to shift over to Dallas Cowboy news. From what I saw from the preseason game against the Raiders, I thought it was an overall balanced win that they had. They were able to get a pick six, and it just felt like the defense with the young guys, they were clicking. Zimmer's really got this team rolling and being on the same page for the most part. So I think that was a good addition that they added with Zimmer and with the young players. I'm going to shift over to the offense. Trey Lance, he threw about 23 times. He threw a touchdown pass, kind of rewrote the wrong for what he did from week one. He threw a touchdown pass to Ryan Flournoy, and Ryan Flournoy is becoming a solid rookie, especially at the receiver position. This receiver room is going to be very interesting, especially when CeeDee Lamb gets back, because I believe there's going to be two key receivers that might not make the depth on this team, but I'll touch cross paths with those when it gets there. Trey Lance, I thought, was a little more comfortable in the offense. It looked like he was processing better on the field. He also ran for a touchdown, and I just really think with what the owner said, he basically said that Lance is going to be on the 53-man roster. So that is kind of already set in stone there. I don't know if it was a smoke screen or not, but we'll see. But Trey Lance, he definitely processed better on the field, and I believe he's going to continue to learn. But I think it's too early to call him QB2 under Cooper Rush. Now, if they were to compare it, they would have Lance edge him because he has the mobility and Rush does not. So that is what I have there for Lance, and I will give him credit. He did improve compared to the week one preseason game. The running backs. I finally get to talk about the running backs. I got a chance to see Royce Freeman and Deuce Vaughn. Both of those guys did their thing, especially with the massive gaps that was created by Cooper Beebe, who took first team snaps, and Tyler Guyton. I think both of these young linemen, I feel like trading back and getting Guyton and then getting a steal with the extra pick with Beebe, I think we might have just secured our top two positions on the offensive line of being our best five starting in week one. But with the running backs, it's really up in the air to see which one would be on this team and the one would get cut. I know that I have a question for the mailbag later dealing with that, and I'll answer that when it gets there. But overall, they did a really good job during this preseason. The next preseason game they head back home to Dallas to play against the Chargers. And I'll get a final evaluation with the young guys there. And from what I got from news, Dak Prescott will be calling the offense again in this preseason game for Lance. Dallas made a couple of acquisitions where they traded with the Giants for a late round pick and picked up Jordan Phillips. We signed Carl Lawson and just received news that they are finalizing a deal to bring in Linval Joseph. So they're really trying to beef up this defensive line, which Mike Zimmer was preaching. He said he needed more noses, and that's more nose guards. So overall, I like what I'm seeing, and just keeping on to the pace. When the players get their contracts, whenever that happens, we'll touch pass when they get there. I'm done with my news. Mal, what team news you have with the New York Giants and what you thought of their Week 2 preseason game?
Yeah, all right. So let me start by saying Daniel Jones looked awful, guys.
Yeah, we know. We know.
Yeah. He looked awful. 2 interceptions, just looked really rusty, looked really bad. And you know what? I'm just tired of giving the same excuses for a guy who's in year 6. Like, listen, I know he's coming off an ACL, but he's just
I thought the beard would have helped.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
Okay, yeah, I figured. Let's be for real for a second. Like, same Daniel Jones, beard or not, the guy, the quarterback room for the Giants is just not, it's not strong. And in the end, you know, I would rather him get it out in preseason. I'm glad he's trying things, but it's just not looking the hottest for the Giants. But go ahead, Lucas. What were you going to say?
Ain't nothing changed
Well,
but the date on the calendar.
like, look, Tommy DeVito's through, around the same amount of passes, had less yards, but somehow looked better.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, like, it is what it is.
I mean, tell me, am I wrong? Did Tommy DeVito look better than Daniel Jones?
Everyone is mid, Lucas. Tommy DeVito is not the answer. Like,
look, he's the only answer you got on the roster right now because Drew Lock is out.
Dude, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all bad. All of it is bad. Like,
so are we tanking for Shador?
No, dude, I don't want Shador.
Man.
Listen, it's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. In the end, the Giants are gonna win like 6 to 7 games, be like pick 11, and we're not gonna get a quarterback. Like, it's just what's gonna happen. And you know what? It's fine.
There was a reason why Joe Shane wanted to move up.
Yep. There's a reason why, because this was the opportunity. There was an opportunity this year, and you know what? It is what it is. Like, truly, it really is what it is. I don't have high expectations for the season at all. I just want to see some good things from the guys that are cornerstones on this team, and that's all I care about. And to continue the bad news with the Giants, guys, we got spanked and looking like fools when it came to the Jets practice today. That's all I'm going to say.
How bad was it?
It was bad, Earl. Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers made us look like a JV football team. They made us look like a JV football team. Our secondary is just in shambles. We have one rookie cornerback who is still unproven. We have no CB2. Our safety is a rookie, but was hurt for 3 weeks, and now guys, it's just not good on the secondary end. It's not good. We are just getting cooked. Aaron Rodgers made us look like we were literally a 12-year-old Pee-wee football team today. 60-yard touchdown here to Garrett Wilson, 70-yard touchdown here to Garrett Wilson, 50-yard touchdown here to Garrett Wilson. It was just embarrassing. It really was. There's no other way to describe it. I don't look too much into practice. I don't look too much into preseason, but, like, let's be serious. Real season is, 3 weeks away, and this is
on the way. It's on the way.
So,
question: do they play the Jets in Week 3 preseason?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to check that game out. But to be fair, Mal, it's Aaron Rodgers.
I know it's Aaron Rodgers, and I know, like, listen, we joke about the New Jersey Jets. They got a great team, though, going. They got a nice defense. They got a nice offense going on. They fixed the line. They did what they had to do. Jets will be in contention probably this year. We all joke about it, but they look good. In the end, we looked bad. We looked real bad, and we know that we're not going to be a great team this year, but those defensive backs, Garrett Wilson was making us look like they were running circles around our defensive backs. Not a good look. Not great 3 weeks before the season. Giants got to get on the phone. Joe Shane has to do his work and get a CP2. I don't even think that'll help. I'm just, after all this, and I'm not trying to overreact, but it really just truly, it puts everything into perspective.
I'm going to give you a little bit of hopium now.
So Mal,
go ahead, Lucas.
I'm just going to ask this. Give a percentage of how likely it is ownership blows things up after this season. Give me a percentage here.
Percentage?
Of blowing things up. That means no more Daniel Jones, no more Brian Daboll, no more Joe Shane.
So I don't think I can give a percentage for all that because I don't think Brian Daboll's going to go.
Okay, so Brian Daboll stays. Let's just say Shane and Daniels.
I think Shane and Daboll make it. I don't think Daniel Jones does.
Okay, Mal, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I understand this is practice.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a possibility that they just suck at practicing, and that in point time of the game, that is all out the window?
No.
Not even a little bit? Because for you to say that they're not trying, that means you trading for Burns.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they're not trying. I'm not saying that in one bit. Okay. I'm saying that there's a talent deficit. And I'm not saying the defensive line. It's not anything to do with the defensive line.
It's secondary.
Honestly, secondary is. I want to say what I really want to say, but we got to keep it real here, guys.
How about this? It was too much of find the scrub.
Yeah, the secondary is Swiss cheese, boys.
Ooh.
That's all.
A lot of holes in them.
Just say it, Mal.
Just say it with your chest. Say it the nicest way you can. Very polite.
In the nicest way that I can say it, the secondary is the most awful thing I've seen. It's really so bad. And I don't know if they were just shell-shocked from how good Rodgers and Wilson were, but it is not coming together. And I hope that this practice lit something under their butts and they can figure it out tomorrow and figure out adjustments. But there were literally 3 or 4 touchdowns that were 60 to 70-yard completions. Like Garrett Wilson was just blazing.
Dang, that's bad.
He was burning them boys. And it's like, what is CD going to do? What is A.J. Brown going to do? What is Terry going to do? Like, really? It's not good in any way.
There's a lot more receivers you forgot, too. But, I get the picture.
I'm just talking about the 6 games I got to play y'all in the division. Like, it's not. That was
okay, did they cover well with the tight ends? Cover the tight ends?
I mean, I didn't hear a single thing about a tight end, but Garrett Wilson had a day. That's all I know.
Didn't Sauce Gardner wave y'all off the field?
He did, but
that's criminal.
Sauce talk because he was getting beat all day. He's not my problem. The offense wasn't really the issue. They, were doing their thing. There were drops. It was sloppy. The secondary, though, I hope they went to bed with thoughts in their mind of being cut from the team. All of them. Like, I would rather have no secondary. I'll show up on secondary before that performance today.
We'll throw Lucas out there, too.
I don't play no secondary.
Throwing the whole podcast out there. That's how bad that is.
I probably would do a lot better than what they did, apparently.
Yeah, man. It was not good. Nick McLeod, burnt toast.
I do have one quick question. Mm-hmm. Now, do you remember the Little Giants movie?
Of course I do.
Okay, did they play as bad as the secondary in that game or worse?
Earl, those are kids.
But you get my point across. You get what I'm saying.
No,
if you're giving up 50, 60-yard bombs, I promise you the kids probably did better than what the players now did. There's no way you in practice would give up a 60-yard pass. There's no way. There's got to be coaches that be like, do not let him beat you. Do not let him get behind you.
And I'll end on this, guys, before we move to Maurice. There were at least, I think, Aaron Rodgers had a 60-yard touchdown, a 70-yard touchdown, and a 50-yard touchdown. That's
Good
how
Lord.
bad that was. He cooked us. Garrett Wilson cooked us. It was just bad. It was all bad. None of it was good. I am literally just so beside myself with how awful that whole secondary performed. Hopefully I can circle back and say to you guys next week that this changed, but I doubt it. And that's how bad it was. So
I just want to point out that Mal's been ranting for like 10 minutes, and she
I know,
doesn't
I've
usually
been-
do this. This is
I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had to let
You'll
No,
feel-
no,
you'll
no,
feel
no,
a lot
no,
better
it's
after.
just- it
No,
shows
you're
how
good.
much you
It's
care.
therapeutic. It's therapeutic. You care.
I'm just
You
so
care.
frustrated. I'm just so frustrated that after 3 years of this regime, we can't figure out really like what to do. It's always something. It's always something, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for
It's
the
one
new.
bad. Go ahead, Earl. Send it
Oh,
over
it
to
was-
Maurice.
Yeah, I was like, thank you for the news, Mal. It was a lot of
Cut me off.
Chef Boy ID here.
Cut me
Maurice, do you have? I apologize, Mal.
off.
Maurice, with the Eagles team news, do you have any? And what did you think of the Week 2 preseason game that the Eagles played?
Well, our secondary looked pretty good. No, but speaking of our secondary, Cooper DeJean finally got back on the field this week. He was on IR, and reporters say that he's going to play in our third preseason game this Saturday at 1 o'clock. That's a weird time for a preseason game, but I'm all for it, though. But I'm ready to see what Cooper DeJean has to offer. You know, a lot has been talked about his athleticism and him being a ball hawk. So we will see. We will see. By the way, they are playing the Ravens this Saturday. So
Wait, they're playing them again?
Uh,
Because they played on
Yeah.
Week 1 of the preseason. So they're playing them again?
I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay.
I could have sworn it was the Ravens.
Yeah, they played them Week 1.
No, you're playing the Vikings, Maurice.
Oh, the Vikings. Oh,
Hey,
I got the
it's
purple.
the
I got the
other purple team.
The other
The other
purple.
purple.
I got the purple mixed up. That's weird for the Vikings to
not
travel.
Ravens purple, but Barney purple.
All right, I'm sure
How
Vikings
dare
fans
you.
appreciate that, Lucas.
Yeah, you know.
Go after
they
them.
took Kirk
Go
Cousins
after
from
him.
us, so,
Go after Vikings fans. Go after Lucas. Yes, they disrespecting the purple. Mm-mm.
I'm curious to know why would Minnesota travel all the way to Philly for a preseason game. But anyway, I digress. Today we released tight end CJ Azuma. I don't know what that entails for our
You
tight
guys
end.
signed more offensive linemen, I think, right?
Yeah, we signed our offensive lineman Poe. I forget his first name off the top of my head, but yeah, he's a camp body. I don't foresee him making the roster. And other news for training camp, when it comes to camp battles and training camp, it looks like Mekhi Becton is going to win the right guard battle going into week 1 over Tyler Steen.
He is a massive guard.
Yeah, that we have a really big offensive line. Let's just hope we can be mobile enough, especially like on screens and all that. So, but that's going to be interesting to see him next to Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's like a really big dude himself. I think Becton's bigger. But anyway,
Wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. And besides that, Jacoby Dean looks like he's proven me wrong. He's been playing really well the last week or so in camp and in our last preseason game. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is also showing some signs of being at least a rotational player at the linebacker position going into the season. But besides that, not much else team news with the Philadelphia Eagles. So back to you, Earl.
Thanks, Maurice. We're gonna shift it back to you with the mailbag, sir.
Yes, and our mailbag this week is brought to us by the Dallas Cowboys. So we have 4 questions for the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully Earl has an answer for them.
I'm ready. What you got?
With the Bucks releasing Randy Gregory, should the Cowboys looking into bringing Gregory back due to the loss of Sam Williams for the season?
I think that would be a nice addition to add, especially with what Randy Gregory still has in the tank. I think that would be something that Zimmer would use that would actually help, especially on the edge, especially would give another dimension to pass rushing. And I think he did a good job back in 2021 when he was with the Cowboys. The only thing is just the disciplinary actions and stuff really cost them in the postseason. So if they made a call to him to try to rewrite a wrong and bring him back, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
How do you feel about a young safety room cutting the veterans of that same position? Basically going young.
I like that a lot. Not only that, I feel that Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker, they peaked. They already reached. We know what they have. But I'm looking at more of Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas and young rookie safety Julius Wood possibly being the next guys up to be able to send the safety room to another dimension, especially with what their untapped potential is as well as their athleticism. So if they were to cut both Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, I'm cool with that. And just having the free safety as Wanye Thomas and then strong safety Marquise Bell, interchange them, I'm cool with it.
Okay. Now, what do you think about Deuce Vaughn and Royce Freeman being RB2 and 3, cutting Rico Dowd?
I would be cool with it to the point that it's clear as day that they want Ezekiel Elliott to be running back one. But I think he's there just to be able to be on a potential last dance with Dak Prescott to go out swinging. But from what I saw from Deuce Vaughn and what his capability is with especially he's only 5'5", and I think with him still rock solid, he's like a elusive rock that can hide in between the offensive line gaps. I think he would be a solid running back too because it adds a slash dimension to what is a power dimension of Ezekiel Elliott, and Royce Freeman is bigger than Zeke that has the power ability with some juice in the tank. I like it. Rico Dowdle, if they release him, I don't think any team is going to pick him up. So they could easily come back to bring him back on the practice squad in case of an injury from the looks of it, if the potential running back room of Ezekiel Elliott, Royce Freeman, or Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Luki, one of those guys get hurt, you can just plug Rico back into it. But yeah, release him and still bring him back to the practice squad because I don't think anyone else is going to pick him up.
I definitely think somebody will pick up Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be a good target for somebody. All right, one more question. If the Cowboys do not commit to Dak after this season, what are your thoughts on the Giants maybe picking up Dak after this season?
I wonder who asked that question. I wonder who asked.
Couldn't be me.
Well, I could see it happening because I believe the Giants would appreciate Dak more than what the front office with Dallas appreciates him. Because it's to the point of an example that Dak is that shiny car that you would want to put in the garage in case of storms and rain. They just keep Dak Prescott out in the storm and rain and just mess it up. I really don't think the front office know how special they are that they were able to find lightning in the bottle after Romo, especially with what you would want in a quarterback to be able to handle all the media questions and still be able to go out there and put up a fight on the field. It's kind of like a double-edged sword dealing with that, especially being the Cowboys quarterback. And if they think that Trey Lance can handle that pressure, that dude's going to have gray hair before he hits 25. And for what Dak Prescott is capable of doing and how he's at that point that when he's older and learning more and the game is getting slower for him, he's going to start carving up the league even more with what he's learning. So if they were to give up Dak and he joins the Giants, it wouldn't be a slap in the face, but it'd be one of, I'm about to mess y'all up, the two matchups that we have against one another for that. I digress.
All right. So that's the Cowboys mailbag for this week.
Solid questions.
Mm-hmm. Who's up next?
That would be Earl.
I think it's that time, y'all. Who's that football player? Didn't it? This football player played on the Philadelphia Eagles. Back in the 2009 season, this player had 9 interceptions for 117 yards, 16 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 40 total tackles, and 1 tackle for loss. Their career awards is a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Guys and gal, who's that football player?
Well, Earl, do you know it?
I'm going to take a crack at it. You want me to go?
Yeah, because I know it and Lucas knows it.
I'm going to go Quinnen McKell.
And Mal, who do you think it is?
You said 9 interceptions?
Yes.
Dante Samuel.
All right. So Earl said, who you say, Earl?
Quentin McKell.
Actually, Mal's right again. Mal's been on a roll.
Oh, nice.
Yo, listen, guys. I know my stuff.
Yeah, it's Asante Samuel. Asante had a really good career, man. Underrated.
Oh, yeah. He definitely needed the recognition, too, especially.
Yeah.
But he was definitely one that was a solid corner on the outside, and he could play on the inside, too. So kudos to him.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And now
All right.
it is Mal's turn. Yep.
Yeah, let's move on to the poll questions, guys. Sorry, guys, I just had them pulled up. I don't know why they went away. Hold on. So we had 2 poll questions. So let's start with the Eagles question this week. So, Eagles fans, what position are you most concerned about going into this season with the moves made in the offseason? And this one was actually very even. So, center, guard, safety, or defensive line. It was 29% across the board for guard, safety, and defensive line.
Wow.
Yeah, so everyone was a little worried about all that. Maurice, what are you most worried about?
I mentioned guard, the right guard with Becton. I think it's going to come down to if he could stay healthy. I think I'm actually going to go defensive line. If we don't generate enough pressure, you're putting a lot on the secondary, and it's a young secondary. Slade being the veteran there, we drafted two corners, so it's going to be it's a lot of it's going to be a lot on Jalen Carter, second year, had a great rookie year. It's going to be a lot on Jordan Davis. Let's see what Huff can do, but that line really needs to produce. More so just getting after the quarterback, getting sacks than anything else.
Yeah, no, totally. I hear you. I voted center with Kelsey being gone, but you guys seem confident in Cam Jurgens.
Yes.
So the next poll question was, who should be wide receiver 2 on the Commanders opposite of Terry McLaurin? Jahan Dotson, De'Ami Brown, or Olamide Zaccheaus? I said De'Ami Brown, but most voted for Jahan Dotson.
De'Ami.
Sorry, De'Ami Brown. I'm sorry, De'Ami Brown.
Zaccheaus.
Olamide Zaccheaus?
Olamide Zaccheaus, yes.
So most people said Jahan Dotson.
Interesting.
I think I picked De'Ami Brown.
They're wrong, but okay.
Yeah.
I
They're wrong.
I said De'Ami Brown too, so.
Yeah.
But that's the end of our poll questions. I digress. Lucas?
Okay, so this one I found interesting, and the answers kind of surprised me. Which tight end has the New York Giants franchise record with 35 career touchdowns? I'll start
me to
with
go
Earl.
first?
I'll have Earl go first. Who do you think it is,
Okay.
Earl?
I'm gonna go Aaron Thomas.
Maurice?
I was gonna go Thomas as well.
Mal?
Thomas.
Okay, did you guys look this up? Because I thought this was hard. I didn't even know
Nah,
Aaron Thomas was a guy.
I didn't. From what I learned, I know he was tied 6 with 35 touchdowns. I wrote this down. Hold on. He was teammates with Homer Jones and Dale Schaffner. He tied them for 6 with 35 touchdown catches.
See, I thought I was being clever because he started his career with the Giants back in 63 and ended in the 70s. And I know that you guys struggle with those old time guys, but apparently, you sure you all didn't look this up?
Bro,
No.
I did not look this up, man.
Are you questioning our integrity?
Never.
Yeah, he's questioning our integrity,
Never.
but Aaron Thomas, rest in peace.
Yes.
R.I.P.
All right. Well, fair enough. That was a lot quicker than anticlimactic than I thought it was going to be. So now I'm slightly disappointed, and I feel like that's the perfect time for Maurice to do our outro.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody. And before we go, we will not be having the Spaces this Sunday, but look forward to seeing a draft video coming
up?
A
draft special and we will have a video up on YouTube, audio up on all of our other stuff. But if you want to see our faces, see how we react to the draft, because I promise you, like last year, there will be some surprises and some anger towards each other.
Yes, looking forward.
I'm drafting Daniels.
I will burn the country down.
Wait, remember last year Earl drafted? I think Earl drafted Mahomes 3rd overall.
Yes, he did.
It was my first pick.
Yes, he did.
That was crazy. Anyway, let's get out of here. We want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast this week. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And we're we just mentioned about the Spaces. We're on YouTube. Subscribe. Give our videos and shorts a thumbs up, including the bloopers. Also, make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, and Facebook at 13_rings podcast. Until next time, have a good one.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Blessings.